What is up, YouTube? I am Galdite74 here, bringing you our Week 11 battle of the IBA. This week we take on Just Kurt, who has taken over for Pokemaster Mike in our division and is the coach of the Portage Herdiers. Now, we're going into this game with a nice 7-3 record. We're looking pretty good, but we're not done yet for playoffs. Because, what do you know, Kurt's 6-4. When he took over the team, I think he was like 2-3, and now he's like won like 4 in a row or something like that. So, man's really impressive with this team. Like I mentioned, since he replaced the team, he did make a few changes, not nearly as much as Blue. He dropped Tapu Fini and Swellow, I believe, and he picked up, let me see who he picked up. I actually don't remember off the top of my head. He picked up Crawdaunt, Golbat, and Lantern. I think those were the 3 he picked up. So that were the changes he made. In order to make playoffs, we have to either win this game or win next game. Basically, that's all that really matters. If we lose both, then it's going to be a major problem because Kurt's 6-4, and I believe Nick is also 6-4. Yeah, that sounds about right. So right now we're looking good, but we can't lose both games because Nick could still beat Blue and then beat me, and then Kurt beats me and then beats Blue, and everything could go wrong easily. I mentioned last week that I'm not going to go over the team because if I do make playoffs, and Kurt also does make playoffs, I want to keep some of the same sets possibly. So I usually don't like hiding sets because I like to explain to you guys why I bring what I bring, so it makes somewhat sense. But it's not really gonna happen this week. I can quickly skim over the sets, which I'll do right now. My team consisted of a offensive Serena, I've really skimmed, mixed bulk Toxapex, defensive Skarmory with Rocky Helmet, Chandelure set I can't even go over, standard Lopunny. And one set I can go over is because it did show in the battle. It was Latias, very defensively bulky, but it had 3 attacks and recover, being in Psyshock, Energy Ball, and Surf with the Psyche MZ, and enough speed to outspeed everything besides Mega Gallade, I believe. So that was the team I brought. Again, I'm sorry I can't really go over it too much because if I face him in playoffs, and this goes for Nick as well, depending on the situation. It depends how this game goes, which, we'll see. Before we begin, quick shouts to Aaron for recording this as always because he is a legend, and same to Nick, the GOAT, for joining this team because the background looks really nice and I couldn't have battled without it. So without further ado, let's get into this battle. So here we are with the battle. The 2 things I noticed was that he brought no Crawdaunt and no Tangrowth, so I was pretty happy to see that. And a few other mons that I was actually kind of scared of, so I'm really glad to see what team he brought. I was a little scared of that Glade, and I wasn't really in the mood to deal with this Klefki. And Goodra was kind of worrying me too because Goodra could run many different sets. Sorry, that's my dog in the background being extra loud. Here I let off Lopunny because it doesn't do as much in this matchup, but it can do some work. Plus I can just fake out whatever, which I do have. I do fake out the Klefki to see what type of set it is, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I kind of forget what set this Klefki is running, so that's my own fault. Here, I'm going to get the hashtag out of here because I do not want to be taking T-Wave and crippling my Mega Lopunny. So I send out Skarmory, and so yeah, he does go for T-Wave, and this turns out I really should have went into my Toxapex. You'll see a little later why, because freaking slowing this Skarmory down and, paralysis can be kind of annoying. Anyway, he switches out. I was expecting him to actually set up a layer of spikes because, I can't really touch him, but he can't really touch me. So I decided to go with the Chandelure, and because I did kind of have a plan with Chandelure, but, Lantern's out in the field now, so can't really stay in on this thing. So I had to switch out. I do have a good switching into Serena because, water, electric. However, he does make a really good move and go for the Ice Beam. Now, this was really smart because both my water and electric resists are Serena and Latias, and because of that, Ice Beam hits both of them pretty hard. So that was a good play on his part, noticing that. However, it turns out he has freaking Specs Lantern because that really hurt. I'm not really expecting him to stay in and try and take a Grass-type move to the face, so I just U-turn out, knowing that Rotom's going to come in, or the Klefki. So here it gives me a perfect opportunity to go into the Latias. Here I decide to go for Psyshock first. I do this because I don't want to reveal Surf right away, because if I can do enough chip damage with Psyshock, I can just claim a kill with Surf without him expecting it. So here he's going for the Toxic, which is completely fine. I prefer that over Paralysis, so that's good. Now I'm going to go, this turn I'm going to go for Surf because, again, if he stays in, he will probably drop dead, but he does switch out into Klefki, which is fine because Klefki's taking much more damage from Surf than Psyshock. He knows I have it now, but it's not a big deal because this Latias is basically my switch in every time. So yeah, it does a decent amount of damage. I think this thing was specially defensive, Klefki. Now I'm thinking about it. But anyway, I switch out here into Toxpex, and he makes another good move. I actually thought about this week too, but I didn't think about it for this week. He broke Switcheroo. I'm just like, oh darn. Now my Toxpex is absolutely crippled for this matchup because Toxpex, in order for it to work this week I needed to use all its moves basically. Luckily, he does get Black Sludge, and he is going to hurt himself, which brings him down a half. So the good thing is his walls are getting whittled down really quick. Here he brings out the Lantern, as I'm going to go for the knockoff. It was a bit risky because if Gallade would have switched in by any chance, he would have got the Justified boost, and that would have been a problem. So here I got to switch out. I'm expecting the electric move. I don't really have a switch in now that I have the Serena low. Its Specs is gone, but it's still going to hurt. So I'm going to just send out Megalophony to take the hit, because Megalophony can take the hit. Lantern without Specs doesn't hit crazy hard. Here he goes out to Golbat, so that tells me that's his switch into Megalop. I would fake out to gauge damage, but I don't want to. I wanted to have a Rocky Helmet, but now that I'm saying it out loud, it's got an Eviolite, because duh, it's a Golbat. So that was stupid. Here he goes for the Brave Bird as I switch out to Skarmory, as I actually have a Rocky Helmet, so he's going to take some chip damage, which is really nice. This is his only wall that gets reliable recovery, though. Here I thought this would be a good time to get up my rocks, but he does bring the taunt, so good prep on his part for doing that. I can't stay in and touch this thing while it just whittles me down. Even though it's got Rocky Helmet, I got Rocky Helmet, he can just roost it off. So I send in Latias. He goes to the Super Fang, and this Golbat's being an absolute pain in my ass. So Latias' health is kind of diminished. Since I am more of a defensive Latias, I decided just to pop my Z move now, because the only person or Pokemon that can take this is Klefki, and Klefki's already so low to the point where if it switches out, it'll take the Z move and then just die to like Surf or something like that. So I was pretty comfortable using it here as he just stays in. So this should kill the Golbat. I was really worried it wouldn't because I had no special attack. However, it does kill the Golbat off. And now Megalophony actually can put some work in now because this thing is gone. Klefki is really low. And all I need is that Gallade to be a little chipped down and Goodra to be a little bit chipped down. And I can kind of just win the game with Lopunny. So that's kind of where I'm going with this game. Here I'm just going to sack off my Latias because it's done a really good job in this battle. It's really low. I shock the Lantern with an Energy Ball to the face as he's just going to take me out with an Ice Beam. So now goes Latias. Latias did a lot more work than I expected it to in this matchup, so I'm really happy about that. Here I send in Megalot just to finish off the Lantern because nothing wants to come in and take two frustrations really, so I'm just going to go for frustration. And down goes the Lantern. I don't think he wanted to risk me setting up a sub by any chance either. So there's that. Here he goes into Gallade. Now, here I do make kind of a misplay here. I decide to sack off Serena. Now, I should have just switched into Skarmory because that was my dedicated switch in anyway. But I was really fearing like a really adamant max Thunder Punch. So, you know, just two Thunder Punches knock out Skarmory, and then I just don't have a defensive answer for it. So he just goes for the Zen Headbutt and knocks out the Serena, which, you know, it was kind of stupid on my part, but I wanted Skarmory to have as much health as possible, which I do bring in now. So now the way I'm thinking he's using this is he's going to be like sub 3 attacks, which he does end up having sub. So I'm going to go for the Iron Head here and just try and break the sub, and, you know, I get paralyzed. Like, okay, that sucks. I'm expecting like a knockoff next, but he goes for the Swords Dance. I'm like, oh god. So I have to break the sub now because of Iron Head, because this thing has the potential to sweep my team. Now that Serena is gone, and oh, it's paralyzed again, by the way. So, you know, I get two paralysis in a row, and that really sucks because now Close Combat has a 50-50 roll to kill me, and it kills me. So, you know, things are just, those past 3 turns just did not go my way whatsoever. And you hit a little Rocky Helmet damage, it's not really going to matter. And you're going to see it's going to become a trend in this battle real quick. Now, if I had a Scarf Chandelure here, which is, it's not Scarf, I would have been able to just use Shadow Ball and kill it because of Infiltrator, because that ability is awesome. But no, he decides to go for the Zen Headbutt, which is a fair move because at this point, he would have had a really hard time setting up a sub and an SD again. So, you know, it was a good play for his part just to go for that. as I'm just gonna sack off the rest of my team here because there is nothing that I can do to break the sub and then KO Gallade. If I was just so happened to be able to, maybe he misses a Zen headbutt on like Lopunny or something like that near the end here, I could maybe I have quick attack, spoiler alert, and I quick attack it and then kill it off, and then maybe try and sweep his team because everything else is really low. But the expectations were just so low at this point. I wasn't. He could just click close combat too because 100% accuracy. But we are going to lose 4-0 here to Kurt. Kind of an unfortunate way to lose because of a paralysis. We go to 7-4 and he goes to 7-4 as well with the exact same differential. So we're tied for first place. I believe. I don't remember. I think Nick's a little bit below us. He could still win this week, I believe. I don't know exactly, but I'll let you guys know next week. I can break that situation down real quick. Obviously, I paralyzed for the speed drop, and I'm sure Kurt was too. It just comes with that, that bonus effect. But, that's already out of my favor enough to get 25% twice in a row. And then with the 50-50 close combat, if I would have broken out of the paralysis or survived the hit, I would have gotten Iron Head off. The sub would have been gone. Lop could have just came in and revenge killed it. Now, granted, he did tell me after he was a really fat Gallade, so I did some calcs with Iron Head, and Iron Head was like an 80-something% chance to break the sub, so it was still a roll to break the sub, but, everything that was there was in my favor for the most part, except for the 50-50, and none of it went my way. But hey, that's Pokemon. I'm only a little salty because it's the freaking mascot of the channel, but, GG's to Kurt. Hopefully we get to see him in the playoffs. If we make playoffs, we have to beat Nick next week, which you guys know was a really dragged out battle last time. So we're going to try and prevent that for next week. So it's going to be entertaining for you guys. But that's all enough for me rambling. I ramble too much. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and sub if you're new if you enjoy the content. More Draft League stuff will be coming to the channel soon. Without further ado, that's it for the video. Have a fantastic day, YouTube.